Hello and welcome to Wisdom Trek. This is Guthrie Chamberlain and I'm your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 7-day-a-week 7 Minutes of Wisdom podcast. This is day 212 of our trek, and for the past 3 days we have explored how to live life fully by living with a purpose and on purpose. Today and for the next few days we will explore another trail that is closely related that will help us to learn how to live a legacy life each day. Listening daily to the Wisdom Trek podcast is one way that will help you to gain the wisdom needed to live your legacy today, which will also allow you to leave a legacy tomorrow. If you miss any of the days of our Wisdom Trek episodes, please go to wisdom-trek.com to listen to them and to read the daily journal. We are recording our podcast from our studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. The final week of 2015 is a busy one for us as we are wrapping up some work for a couple of our clients and continuing on with our 2016 life planning. It has been very cool and rainy all week in Ohio, but at least no snow. Paul and I have always had dreams of being snowed in, but realize that unless the internet and the electricity is off, most of our work can continue as usual. Our renovation contractors are making good progress in the library, parlor, and the downstairs foyer hallway. The drywall is completed on the ceilings, and the walls are getting smoothed out in preparation for painting. Unavoidably, though, there is drywall and plaster dust everywhere, but we will wait for any major cleanup until they are completely finished. It is amazing how this drywall dust seeps into every room, even if they're closed off, but it will be well worth it once it's completed. As I mentioned today and for the next couple of days, our trek will take us on a slightly different trail as we consider what it means to live a legacy each day, and not just wait to leave a legacy when we die. This is an important concept to grasp. Our positive impact on others should begin as early as possible on our life's trek and grow each day, and then last through eternity in the lives of others. So today, let's explore how to live a legacy each day, part 1. As we start today's trek, I want to ask you a question. What kind of impact or legacy do you have on others right now? If I asked somebody to describe your attributes in 1 or 2 sentences, what would they say? What do others think about you and the life that you live today? Living a legacy each day is part of living with purpose and on purpose, which we explored over the last 3 days. It is part of living a rich and satisfying life, and I'm not referring to money, but a rich life that money can't buy. In reality, your life leaves a legacy each day. That's really not an option. The question is, what type of legacy are you living? However you frame the question, the truth is that every day you are leaving a legacy that will impact the lives of your family, your friends, and others, which will last well beyond your time here on Earth. What are you passing on to them daily? They are impacted by your life and legacy, whether that is good or bad. The legacy you live impacts the legacy that they live, and that will impact the circles of influence and generations well beyond yourself. As a grandfather of 6 grandchildren so far, I'm reminded of the verse in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. Good people leave an inheritance to their grandchildren, but the sinner's wealth passes to the godly. This inheritance is not just referring to money, but the wealth of life that is well lived, a life of positive influence. I read a comment not too long ago that we all should reflect on, and the comment was, the central paradox of our time is that most of us are earning more money and living better in material terms than our parents did at the same age. Yet by most measures, we're working longer and more frantically than we ever did before, and the time and energy left for our non-working lives are evaporating. The new economy that we're living in brings enormous benefits in terms of wealth, innovation, new chances, and choices. But our absorption and keeping up with it all is leading us to the erosion of our family, fragmenting of our communities, and the challenge of keeping our own integrity intact. We are in danger of losing the crucial distinction between making a living and making a life. Another quote from former Colorado Governor Richard Lamb said something that was very interesting. He said, future historians will say the multiple factors that led to the decline of the cultures around the world were led by the failure to replace ourselves with enough stable children born to families with the ability to raise successful children themselves. It does seem like we're experiencing a crisis of generational legacies. Regardless of your age, it is never too late to start living your positive legacy today. Even with the decline of some of the values of our world, I do see some hope in the young adults of today. They appear to be more plugged into social commerce. That is, not only to make a living, but to make a difference in their world as they're making a living. Let's hope this trend continues. The great biblical historian Martin Luther, when asked what he would do if he knew he was going to die tomorrow, replied simply, I'd go out and plant a tree. He would, in other words, take action today that would grow on and on into the future. And that is what living a legacy does. It will grow on and on into your future and into the future of many generations. On today's Trek, let's learn the principles that are not centered on what we can become in life, but what positive impact we can live as we are daily creating our legacy. It is not about us, it is about our impact. Let's consider the difference between your reputation and your legacy. Your reputation is who you are supposed to be. Your legacy is who you actually are. Your reputation is what you have when you come into a new community. Your legacy is what you leave behind when you go. Your reputation is made in a moment. Legacy is built over a lifetime. A single newspaper report or a careless gossip can make or destroy your reputation, but a life of consistent impact gives you your legacy. Reputation is what men say about you on your tombstone. Legacy is what you leave for your children and your grandchildren that will live on for the rest of their lives. Are you living your legacy each day, or are you striving to build a reputation? The Apostle Paul desired to live his legacy each day, which is shown in his instructions to his protege Timothy in the letter we refer to as 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. And Paul said this, "As for me, my life has already been poured out as an offering to God. The time of my death is near. I have fought a good fight. I have finished the race. I have remained faithful." Notice that Paul's brief statement here says nothing about his education he received, the places he had traveled, the people he had preached to, or the churches that he had planted. He flat out wanted his legacy to be, "I have remained faithful." I really love that. It is what I desire to be as a Christ follower. Faithful, consistent, dependable, and considered a good man. As Paul pondered the end of his life, he made three very simple statements about his legacy. He said that he had fought the good fight, finished the race, and he said, "I have remained faithful." I would suggest that right there we have some of the greatest statements concerning leaving a legacy that you will ever read. If you want to live and leave a legacy that is greater than you, if you want to live and leave a legacy that will impact generation after generation, if you want to live a legacy and then leave a legacy that is great, all you need is wrapped up in these three profoundly simple yet inspiringly deep statements. On our trek over the next few days, we will explore each of these statements from Paul as we learn how to live and leave a legacy of our own. These are very important lessons in wisdom, so encourage your family and friends to join us and then come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. That will finish our podcast for today. Remember to listen to your daily dose of wisdom each day at wisdom-trek.com, or you can subscribe at iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or any of the other social media platforms. And please share Wisdom Trek with your family and friends through email, Facebook, Twitter, or in person as you meet with them, and invite them to come along with us each day. The journal for today's trek can be found at wisdom-trek.com. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I consider you my friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. As we take this trek together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.